thought the river's like Ma. It takes, it keeps, it makes clean. The Boy with the Crooked Eye, 1918 to 1920. Chapter 1. The Lamp and the Lazy Eye. Ma says writing's for folks with too much time and not enough work. But she's the one who pressed this old arithmetic book into my hands while she was wiping down the kitchen table, breathing through that rag like a horse with the heaves. "Make yourself useful with it, Ed," she said. Then she looked at me, long and steady, like I was a window that won't quite shut. She looks at me that way often, like I'm the one letting the cold in. I sit at the end of the long table. The oil in the lamp makes a low hum, steady as a pulse. Outside, the yard creaks under night frost. In the wood stove, the coals collapse with a sound like exhaling. I cannot sleep. When I close my eyes, I see the path up to the county road, then the trees standing there like they've got something to say but no mouth to say it with. Sometimes I believe they whisper anyhow. Maybe they whisper just for me. I got a lazy eye, the boys at school say, as if an eye's supposed to work like picking potatoes. One of them called me Squint once and tapped his temple with his finger. I laughed. Not because it was funny, because my laugh comes faster than my thinking. It arrives when it wants to, like a cough. Ma says that laugh comes from below. She points her finger at the floor, like there's a trap door down there leading straight to hell. "Don't laugh, Edward," she says. "The Lord don't love foolish laughter." Pa smells like whiskey when he breathes, like wet wood and whiskey. He don't talk much. When he does, the words stick to you like burrs in a coat. "Shut your mouth, boy," he says. Or he just grunts, and you know, something's about to fall. Pa's strong. Being strong sometimes means chairs fly. I don't know if he likes me. Maybe he liked me once. When I was so small, I knew nothing but the smell of soap and the warmth under Ma's apron. Then came the farm. Then came the silence. Then came this thing I carry in my belly now, like a vein that wants too much blood. Chapter 2. Crosse and the River. They say we moved here from Crosse because Ma didn't care for the city. Too many women with red lips, she said. Too much. Too many men spitting on the curb. I remember water, a sound like eternal rain, but it was the river. I remember a red ribbon in Ma's hair. There ain't no red ribbons in Plainfield. In Plainfield, there's brown earth, brown houses, brown men with a gap at their hips where they carry their pliers or their hammer. And then there's the church. Always the church. The pastor's got a voice that sounds like heaven's full of dust, and he's blowing it down on us with every word. Ma reads from the Bible when it rains. When it don't rain, she reads anyhow. She reads aloud. Her lips move like a needle through cloth. I like the stories with fire. I like when something's clear. Sodom, Gomorrah, plagues, rods. When a man falls because God sees him. At least that's honest. The world ain't honest otherwise. Men say good day and mean get lost. Women say how are you and mean not too close. Ma says all women are unclean, excepting herself. I don't know how you wash unclean. Ma knows. She scrubs boards till her fingers go white. She says the wood's got to creak, or the devil's still in it.
I write crooked. The table ain't quite level. The top's got a dent from the bowl Ma needs dough in. When I draw the pencil over that dent, the line goes thin. That's how life is. You think you're drawing a line, and then it goes thin sudden, because the wood gives way. If Ma reads this, she'll say it's foolishness. Write the truth, Edward. All right then, the truth. I'm the boy with a crooked look. I do my work. I chop wood. I carry water. I go to school long as they'll still have me. The others laugh. I laugh too. Then I go home and listen to how the chickens breathe at night. They breathe like people when the night's real still. Sometimes I think the folks in town all breathe in the same rhythm as our chickens. Maybe we're the chickens and don't know it. Chapter 3. Mud and Crooked Things. Ma says the city's a swamp. The farm sits up high, she says, on top of God's hand. But the ground's heavy when it's wet. It pulls at your boots like it wants to keep you. I seen Pa stuck in the mud once, up to his ankle, cursing. He looked like the earth had bit him. I laughed. I laugh often at places where nobody laughs. Ed, Pa said, you sit crooked in the world. Then he pushed me with his flat hand on my chest. Not hard, more like a reminder. You're there, Ed. You're in the way. Move. At school, there's a blackboard that squeals. When the teacher writes, it's like a rat screaming. I like the map of Wisconsin. It hangs crooked. Bottom right, there's a water stain that looks like a calf's head. I stare at that stain when the others are reading. The letters dance sometimes. Not because I'm dumb, because one eye does what it wants. The words jump. I catch them with my finger. The teacher slapped my fingers once. The others laughed. Me too. After that, nobody laughed. Leastways not out loud. Sometimes, when I laugh, the others turn away, like my laugh stinks. I remember the move. There's pictures in my head. Crates that smelled like apples, though there weren't none in them. A wagon. A sky so bright it hurt. Ma stood up front, straight as a post. Pa carried the stove ring. He cursed because the ring was hot, even though it was cold. Henry, my brother, walked alongside, carrying nothing and everything, because he always walks like he's got a sack on his shoulders nobody can see. Henry's stronger than me. That's what they say. Maybe it's true. When I look at him, I feel my heart go faster, but not from fear. More like the air gets thicker. Ma put her hand on my forehead once and said there's a room in there the Lord's rented out. I mustn't let just anybody in. Lock it up, Ed, she said. I tried, but I believe I locked the wrong doors. Some things always get in. Voices telling me to do things. Not loud, not like the pastor. More like the wind under the roof. That fine hum you only hear when you're alone. I'm alone a lot. I hear a lot. Chapter 4. Salt and Unclean Women. Sundays we put on our clean things. Ma does my collar too tight. She says that's how it ought to be.
In church, it smells like wet wool and cold skin. The pastor talks about Lot and his wife, who turns around and becomes salt. Ma looks at me at the word salt. Later, at home, she sets the salt cellar on the table and turns it so the opening points at me. As a reminder, she says. I don't rightly know what I'm supposed to remember. That you shouldn't turn around? Or that women turn to salt when they don't obey? I don't ask her. Questions are holes. The devil crawls through holes. I found old pictures in a crate. A man in uniform I don't know. A woman with a hat and a brooch big as a plum. Ma took the crate from my hands. That there's city things, she said, makes the eyes unclean. I don't know how eyes get unclean. Mine probably already are. One of them anyhow. Sometimes I imagine I had 2 good eyes. Then I'd see all the things exactly that I only see crooked now. Maybe the crooked part's the truth. Straight ahead is lies. I don't know. I ain't old yet. But old enough to know Ma's always right. And when she ain't right, she's right anyhow. This morning I scrubbed the hog kettle. The smell crawls into your fingertips no matter how hot the water is. I thought about the word clean. Ma says it often. Get clean. Make clean. Stay clean. The pastor says people are dirty. Ma says women are dirtier. I knocked over a bucket, and the water ran into a groove in the floor, like the groove was made for it. Everything's got its groove, I reckon. Me too. My groove is maybe what Ma calls purpose, or what Pa calls bad luck. I don't know which word fits better. Henry said yesterday the folks in town call Ma hard. Hard is good, Ma said, before I could say anything. Hard is God's wood. Henry played with his tongue at a new tooth he got, like he was a child again. I don't know what'll become of Henry. Sometimes I look at him and think he's like those men with pliers at their hip. A man who grabs the world and drives a nail through it. I'm different. I look at things. I can look a long time. So long the thing looks back. At night, I sometimes hear the train, far off, like a memory that ain't happened yet. I think on the train there's folks who talk and laugh and act like there ain't no hell. Ma says the train's the devil's tongue. It runs to the cities the Lord will put a match to when it's time. And it'll be time, Ed, she says. Soon it'll be time. I nod. I nod a lot. I want Ma to see me nodding. Chapter 5. The Knife in the Moon. I got a knife. Every boy's got one. Mine ain't particular sharp. It's got a handle too big for my hand. I don't wear it on my belt because Ma don't like that. I hold it under the lamp sometimes and watch how the light dances on it.
Sometimes my crooked eye reflects in it and looks like a small, cold moon. I imagine I could put that moon in my pocket and tell Ma, "Look, I brought you light." She'd say the light belongs to the Lord, and I'd nod and keep the moon in my pocket anyhow. I remember a night in Crosse, or I'm dreaming the memory. We stood by the river. Pa had me in his arms. I was so small, my shoes still creaked when they got wet. The water was black, but not empty. It had a skin like milk when you let it stand. Pa said the river eats everything you give it. He weren't angry when he said it. More like proud. I thought the river's like Ma. It takes. It keeps. It makes clean, but in a way you can't see. At school, I had to write an essay. What I want to be. I wrote, useful. The teacher put a question mark under it. I laughed when I seen that question mark. He frowned. "You laugh at everything, Edward," he said. I could have told him I don't laugh, that the laugh just comes out, like the wind under the roof. But I didn't say nothing. I put my hands under my legs to keep them warm and stared at the stain on the map that looks like a calf's head. I thought a calf that never got born can't hurt nobody. Sometimes I wish I'd never been born. Then I'm ashamed, and I pray, and then I laugh, because praying feels like a bowl on your head, dull and hot. Ma says I shouldn't talk to girls. I barely talk to anybody. At church, there's a girl in a blue dress that smells like soap. A clean smell. Ma says clean smell's deceiving. The body's a barrel full of filth, she says. And only the Lord can open the bottom and let the filth drain out. I picture it. A barrel. Bottom flips open. Filth sloshes out like mash. Ma would say that's a wicked thought. I don't know if it's wicked when you see things nobody wants to see. Sometimes I hear the house. Not just the mice. The wood talks when it gets cold. It contracts and cracks, like it's remembering. Ma says I shouldn't be afraid. Fear's for the weak. I ain't afraid. I just listen. I like listening. When I listen, I ain't here no more. Then I'm somewhere there ain't no school, and no pastor, and no pa breathing like a leaky kettle. There I'm just me, and the sound that wants out of me. Maybe writing is that sound. Maybe it's better when the sound falls onto paper and not into the air. Chapter 6. Locked rooms and watching. I seen Ma lock up the good rooms. She says dust destroys more than fire. Sometimes I stand before the door to her parlor and think, behind that door's the real world. Clean. Wrapped in cloths. I imagine one day I'll be allowed in. I imagine I'll be allowed to sit down without somebody saying, "Get up, Edward." I know it won't happen. For that, the world would have to be different. Or me. Henry told me once I should go outside. Play. Play. I watched the chickens walk the yard. Always the same line. One hen stopped and stared into the air like she's seen something. Maybe a thread. I stopped too and stared to see if I could see the thread. We both stood there staring till Ma knocked on the window and nodded toward the woodshed. Then I ran. The hen didn't. Later she was gone. Pa says the fox got her. I think sometimes things are gone without nobody getting them. They dissolve, like breath in frost. I tore out a page because I wrote a word wrong. The paper's got a scar. Ma says paper costs money. I felt the scar with my finger and thought, scars make things truer. Without scars, nobody believes you fell. Maybe that's why I write. So people see the scars. Not me. The paper. If somebody asks later if I ever thought about being different, I can say, read. It's there. Written crooked, but there. There's nights I can't lie down. I sit at the table and do nothing. Then I start counting the edges of things. How many times the stove ring's been broke. How many wormholes the board in the window's got. How many steps from the door to the bed. From the bed to the door. I close my eyes and walk the steps in my head. 1, 2, 3. I know where the crack in the floor is without looking. I know where the board creaks without stepping. A house is a body too. It's got joints. It's got a voice. It ages. Maybe I age with a house. Maybe one day I'll be as quiet as it is. And if somebody comes then and knocks on the door, I'll knock back. From inside. Just once. Real soft. I think about Ma. A lot. She's like a picture somebody hammered to the wall with a nail. It hangs crooked, but nobody dares straighten it. When I pray, I see her face. No smile. Her mouth's a line that says, make yourself useful. I want to be useful. I want to save something. I don't know what yet. Maybe me. Maybe Ma. Maybe the house. Maybe everything at once. Can you save multiple things? Or do you have to choose? The pastor says you got to choose. I reckon I can't choose. I want all things to stand again like they should. Straight, without dents, without stains, clean. Today the air's so dry the bread splinters when you break it. Ma said that's good bread. Hard bread. God's bread. I chewed till my teeth were tired and thought about the river, about the city, about the train, about everything that moves and takes and moves on. I sit here. I don't move. Maybe writing's my moving. I drive along sentences till they end. Sometimes they stand before a wall. Then I turn around. Sometimes they find a door. Then I go through. Chapter 7. Breathing and watching out. I hear the chickens again. They're breathing. Soon the rooster'll crow. Then morning's here, and the paper's just paper again. Ma will blow out the lamp and say, enough, Edward. I'll nod and rub my eyes and act like I've been sleeping. You got to act a lot. That's the secret of everything. Act like you're how the others say you are. I'm good at that. I'm real good at nodding. I'm real good at saying yes, ma. I'm real good at looking past the wall with one eye and acting like the wall's smooth. When I'm grown, I'll have a room nobody locks. I'll have a table without dents and a lamp that don't hum. And I won't laugh when nobody's laughing. I'll laugh when I want to. And I won't break nothing. I'll make things whole. I don't know how yet, but I know I will. I set the pencil down. My fingers are black from graphite. I wipe them on my pants. Ma says that's sinful, but the pants don't hold it against me. Outside, the yard's gone gray. The first light comes slinking in like a sick dog. Pa snores like he's sawing the world to pieces. Henry turns in his bed. I hear the straw rustle. I hear everything. And the paper hears me. That's good. That's better than nobody. I'll shove this book under my pillow. Ma mustn't find it. Not because I'm lying. I don't lie. I just write down things nobody wants to see. They ain't big things. They're small things with sharp edges. You cut yourself on them if you don't watch out. I watch out. I always watch out. I'll watch out till I'm grown. Then I'll watch out even more. And if somebody asks then why I was so quiet, I'll say, I was busy. I was watching out. Good night. Or good morning. The rooster knows better. I do what he says. But I ain't done thinking. Not yet. The lamp's still burning, and Ma ain't stirred. There's more in my head, pressing against the bone, like water against a dam. Maybe if I let it out slow, it won't flood. Maybe if I write it down, it'll stop knocking. I was thinking about the barn today, how it leans just a little to the east, like it's listening for something. Pa says it's because the foundation settled uneven. But I think buildings lean toward what they love, or what they fear. The barn leans toward the sunrise, maybe, or away from the house. I stood inside it this afternoon, after I finished with the hog kettle, and the light came through the slats in long yellow fingers. Dust moved in those fingers, like it was alive, like it had somewhere to be. I wanted to cup my hands and catch some of that dust light, hold it like you'd hold a moth. But when I tried, my shadow ate it. Shadows are greedy that way. They take up more space than the thing that casts them. There's a cat in the barn, Orange Tom with a torn ear. He don't belong to us, but he acts like he does. Sleeps in the hayloft, catches rats, watches me with eyes like amber buttons. Ma says cats are witches' familiars, but this one don't seem witch-bound. He seems free in a way I ain't. When he walks across the beam, he don't worry about falling. His paws know where to go. Mine don't. I trip over nothing regular. Henry says I got 2 left feet, but I think it's more that the ground moves when I ain't looking. The earth's got a way of shifting under those who pay too much attention. At supper tonight, Pa said grace, which he don't usually do. Ma always does it. But tonight Pa did, and his voice came out rusty, like a pump that ain't been primed. "Bless this food and those who eat it," he said, "and keep us from want." Then he opened his eyes, and they were wet. Not crying wet, just wet like when you stare too long without blinking. I wondered what Pa wants. I never wondered that before. I figured Pa just is, like the stove or the fence posts. But maybe Pa's got wants same as me. Maybe everybody's got wants pressing on them, like that dust against my skull. The bread was hard tonight, like I said before, but there was butter, real butter, not lard, yellow as a canary. Ma spread it thin, making it last. I watched her knife scrape across the surface of the butter, leaving a canyon. I thought about how you can see a person's whole life in how they spread butter. Ma spreads it like she's rationing love. A little here, a little there. Never enough to waste, but never enough to satisfy neither. Pa don't spread butter. He tears the bread and eats it plain. Henry spreads it thick when Ma ain't looking. I spread it the way Ma does, because I learned early that when you copy people, they leave you alone. After supper, I went out to the yard while there was still a scrap of light. The sky was purple, like a bruise healing. I could hear the highway in the distance, that low hum of motors and wheels on gravel. It's a lonely sound. Makes you think about all those people going somewhere, anywhere, everywhere but here. I thought about hitching a ride on one of them trucks that pass by, hiding in the bed under a tarp. Where would I go? What would I do? I can't think that far. My mind stops at the property line, like there's a fence there, even though there ain't. The chickens were settling in when I went to close up the coop. They make this low sound when they nestle down, like old women complaining about their bones. I counted them, 12 hens and 1 rooster. The rooster's name is Saul. Pa named him that because Pa says Saul was a king before he fell. And this rooster acts like royalty, even though he's just a bird. Saul watched me close the door, his head cocked, one eye fixing me with a look that said he knew something I didn't. Birds know things. They see with them sideways eyes, see around corners, see into tomorrow maybe. I found a dead mouse by the fence. It was stiff, its little paws curled up like it died praying. I picked it up by the tail and looked at it close. Its eyes were still open, just black beads now, seeing nothing. I wondered what the last thing it saw was. The shadow of a hawk, the barn cat's teeth, or just the sky going dark. I buried it under a stone. Don't know why. Ma would say I'm soft, wasting time on vermin. But it seemed wrong to leave it there for the ants. Even a mouse deserves a stone. When I came back in, Ma was darning socks by lamplight. Her needle went in and out, like breathing. I sat across from her and watched. She didn't look up. She don't need to look at her hands to know what they're doing. Her hands got a mind of their own. They've done this so many times, the motions carved into the bone. "You staring, Edward," she said without looking. I said I wasn't, but I was. I'm always staring. That's my trouble. I see too much and not enough all at once. "Go to bed," Ma said. But her voice weren't hard. It was almost soft, or what passes for soft with Ma. I didn't move right away. I wanted to ask her something, but I didn't know what. Maybe I wanted to ask if she ever wanted to leave. If she ever stood in the yard and heard that highway and wondered. But you don't ask Ma things like that. Ma's the kind of woman who stays because staying's what you do, no matter if it grinds you down to dust. So I said goodnight and climbed the ladder to the loft where me and Henry sleep. Henry was already in bed, facing the wall. I couldn't tell if he was asleep or just pretending. Sometimes Henry pretends, so he don't have to talk. I do that too. Pretending's easier than talking. Talking makes you say things you didn't know you thought, and then those things are out in the world where they can do damage. I climbed into my bed and pulled the thin blanket up. It smells like wood smoke and sweat and time. Everything old smells like time. Like the years got into the fabric and won't come out no matter how much you beat it on the line. I thought about the girl in the blue dress again. I don't know her name. She sits 3 rows ahead in church, and I can see the back of her neck where her hair is pinned up. Her neck's white like milk glass. I imagine what it'd be like to touch that neck, just with one finger, just to see if it's as smooth as it looks. But then I hear Ma's voice in my head saying women are unclean. And I push the thought down deep where it can't get out. Thoughts like that are dangerous. They make you want things you can't have. They make you hungry when there ain't no food. The wind picked up outside. I could hear it testing the shutters, pushing at the cracks. The house creaked and settled. Henry stirred but didn't wake. I stared at the ceiling, at the beams running across like ribs in a great animal's belly. Sometimes I think we're living inside something that swallowed us whole, and we just don't know it yet. We go about our days thinking we're free, but really we're being digested, slow, turned into something else. Something simpler. I heard Ma's footsteps on the stairs, then in the hall, then in her room. The door closed with a click, then Pa's heavy tread, slower, unsteady. He'll sleep in his chair tonight, I reckon. He does that when the whiskey's got him. Come morning, he'll wake with a crick in his neck and blame it on the chair. But it ain't the chair's fault. A man makes his own hurts most times. I should sleep. Morning comes early on a farm. There's eggs to gather, wood to split, fences to mend. The work don't stop just because you're tired. Ma says idle hands are the devil's workshop. And maybe she's right. Maybe staying busy keeps the dark thoughts at bay. But I ain't busy now. I'm just lying here in the dark with my eyes open, listening to the wind and the house and Henry's breathing. And all them dark thoughts are crowding in like folks at a tent revival, pushing to get close to something they can't name. I think about the future sometimes. Not far future, just tomorrow, next week, next month. I see myself doing the same things I do now. Chopping wood, carrying water, watching the chickens walk their lines, going to church and nodding at the pastor's words, eating hard bread with thin butter. I see myself getting older, getting bigger, but not really changing, like I'm just a larger version of what I already am. Is that all there is? You grow, you do your work, you die, and in between you just keep doing the same things over and over till you wear a groove so deep you can't climb out. Maybe there's more. Maybe there's something waiting for me that I can't see yet. Something that'll make sense of all this watching and listening and writing in the dark. Maybe one day I'll understand why I notice things others don't. Why I hear the house breathe, and the chickens pray, and the earth pull at my boots. Maybe it all means something. Or maybe it don't. Maybe I'm just a boy with a crooked eye who thinks too much and laughs at the wrong times. The lamp's getting low now. The flame's shrinking down, pulling into itself. Soon it'll be just dark, and whatever sounds the dark brings. I ain't afraid of the dark. Dark's honest. It don't pretend to be nothing it ain't. It's the light that lies, showing you things that look one way but are another. In the dark, everything's what it is. No more, no less. I'm gonna close this book now and push it under my pillow, where Ma won't find it. Tomorrow I'll take it to the barn and hide it in the loft, under the loose board where I keep other things. A bird's nest, a blue bottle I found in the creek, a photograph I tore from a newspaper of a city I'll never see. These are my treasures, things that are mine and nobody else's.
This book's a treasure too now. It's got my thoughts in it. And thoughts are worth more than money. Because you can't take money with you. But thoughts go wherever you go. And maybe beyond. I hear the rooster shifting on his perch. He knows it's not morning yet, but he's getting ready. Saul's a punctual bird. He don't miss a dawn. I could learn from that rooster. He's got purpose, even if it's just to crow when the sun comes up. Maybe purpose don't need to be big. Maybe it just needs to be regular. Maybe I just need to find my dawn and crow at it. Good night again. Well, good morning again. I don't know which fits better. Time ain't as clear as people make it out to be. It's slippery. Runs through your fingers like water. You try to hold a moment, and it's already gone. Turned into the next moment. And that one's gone too before you can get a grip. All we got is now. This minute. This breath. And even that's half past before you know it. I'll do better tomorrow. I'll laugh less at wrong things. I'll look people straight in the eye
even with my lazy one pulling sideways. I'll make Ma proud. Or at least not ashamed. I'll be useful, like I wrote in that essay. Useful is good. Useful is enough. Useful means you belong somewhere. Even if it's just to chop wood and carry water. And close up the chickens at night. The wind's dying now. The house is settling into sleep like an old dog circling its bed. Everything finds rest eventually. Even me. I'll put this pencil down now. I'll fold into sleep like Ma folds her darning. Tomorrow I'll wake, and the world will be the same as it was. But I'll be one day older, one day closer to whatever's waiting. And I'll keep watching. I'll keep listening. I'll keep writing when nobody's looking. Because maybe that's my purpose. To see, to hear, to remember. To put it down on paper so it don't vanish like breath and frost. Somebody's got to be the witness. Even if it's just a chicken's breathing, and houses creaking, and the wind testing shutters. Somebody's got to say, I was here. I saw this. It happened. That somebody's me.
I trust you enjoyed this glimpse into a most curious diary. If so, leave behind a small token of your delight with a like, and do consider joining our circle by subscribing. And remember, ring the little bell, and you shall be the very first to know when another diary or a fresh entry emerges from the shadows. And if a whisper stirs in your mind, a thought, a riddle, perhaps a name of someone whose secrets you would dare to uncover, leave it for me below. I read them one by one. And who knows, your wish may guide my hand to the very next diary I choose from my collection.